What's up everybody, Jesse Lee here on another hand technique video for drums, and today we're addressing another issue, a mistake I see with drummers, and that mistake is what I call stick loop. I don't know, I'm trying to come up with names for these because I've never heard names for them, but it's this thing where as you're playing, your sticks are looping around in circles. Now this can manifest in numerous different ways, but that's what we're going to be addressing. Now this is not the worst thing in the world, and it's okay if you do it, but it will cost you at higher speeds later on in endurance, so we're going to talk about how to address that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So the idea of stick loop, basically, if you watched the last video, we're talking about energy, right? If you haven't watched the last video, by the way, go click on it because it's really important before we get to this discussion of the sticks. The last one we were talking about staying relaxed, all right? Now this one we want to talk about guiding that relaxed stroke of the drumstick, right? And what ends up happening with a lot of drummers I see is where they will kind of start doing, like if they're playing, they have these weird, it could be loops or it could even be V's, where they're hitting the drums and the stick is kind of bouncing around and it's not really going from point A to point B, all right? Now, at slower tempos, this is fine. And I even learned, there's a guy named Ed Shaughnessy, if you've never seen Ed Shaughnessy, he was a drummer for The Tonight Show, and I got a lesson from him when I was probably 13 years old. And I remember him telling me, he was like, hey, when you play the ride, for him to stay relaxed, if any of you ever use the Muller technique, it's this very relaxed thing where you're kind of turning your hand out as you play, right? And it's, you can see Jojo Mayer's done tutorials on this. I think I might even have one on my channel. If I do, I'll link it down below. I can't remember if I've done a Muller technique video, but it's this idea where you're using the larger movements of your body to get a lot of energy, and then the smaller strokes after come from smaller muscle groups, right? Now the thing with that, my hands, right? I have very wide hands. I have top 95th percentile of hand width in all adult males. So when I do that, the width of my hand, the way it turns, it's different than somebody with a skinnier hand. And so what used to happen with me, and I've kind of reformed this a little bit, is I would do that technique where, and I would kind of like do this, and you can see the stick sort of bouncing around this way as I do this, right? Yeah. Right, so it's a little bit over extreme. So, you got to learn how to rein that in, and what you're really looking for is the tip of the drumstick basically going from point A to point B. Now in the last video we talked about stick shudder, where if you're going from point A to point B, you don't want to have this grip, this super tight grip where, yeah, it's on that track, but it shudders around because you're too tight. There's two stopping points between the top and the bottom, and that is the top when you turn around and the bottom, right? So if you look at the drumstick here, it's on, if I direct this towards the camera, right, you can see it's in a straight line up and down. So where you really want to try to do this is you should get a mirror, because a mirror is going to actually help you play. Like I'm actually recording, I can see my hands here. It's a little small because I'm recording on my phone. But point is, you want to get somewhere where you could actually see the strokes of your hands. That way you can tell if you're going up and down, or if you've got all this like weird back and forth stuff going. Again, it's fine if you do the circular stuff, especially I know jazz drummers, they really like to stay relaxed. And there's sort of this nice motion you get from like, ah man, that Ed Shaughnessy thing, he would do this outward loop, right? And, but even with Ed, so here's the thing, I remember Ed Shaughnessy telling me, even with him, he would, as the tempo got faster, those loops would get smaller and smaller. So you could see his hand go from here, right, on that pattern, crossing like maybe like probably a 7, 8, maybe 9 inch, or even like a foot long distance between where he hits the stick the first time on the ride cymbal and after, right? And then the faster he got, that motion would get smaller and smaller. So just be aware, it's not the worst thing in the world if you do that, but at faster tempos it will eventually cost you if you don't know how to rein that in. Now the hand, because of that Muller thing, it kind of works with Ed's technique, right? As you're turning your hand out and getting that finger, like the finger control action. So, yeah. Anyway, so basically what you want to do here is when you practice this, keeping things in line, you want to make sure you're going boom, down to the bottom, one smooth line, right? And we talked in the last video about receiving that energy back up, right? So you're stopping here. The only other stopping point is directly at the bottom. So if you tie together that last video and this one, you should see these nice, smooth strokes if you got your hands directed towards the mirror, where everything's nice and up and down. Almost looks like, you know, if I'm, like right here, that it almost looks like the stick isn't even there, right? Because it's so in line. So that's all you're seeing. You're not seeing these loops and this stuff, and you're not seeing the stick shutter where you're gripping too hard, and so it's not a smooth line from the top to the bottom. Again, if you haven't watched that last video, go check it out. So you want to be able to get this with both hands, right? And I addressed this in the last video. I'm actually relearning how to play match grip because I've been playing traditional grip for about 20 years. I had a shoulder injury, so I'm having to redo this. So that's why I'm doing these technique videos, is because I'm like having to kind of go look at, oh yeah, how did I learn that originally? So, but yeah, you really want to be able to get this nice inline pattern, right? So let me just do this for a little bit so you can see. So let's go ahead and do some quick drills on that, because I like drills. So let's just do 16 on a hand, right? And we'll see, you'll probably see my left hand mess up, but even if you're playing traditional, right, the same thing applies here, right? Doesn't matter if you're playing traditional, what style you're playing. You don't want to be doing this sort of thing. I see this with traditional drummers often, where they don't have the up and down motion, and they have this sort of soup mixing motion where it starts kind of doing this bit here. So you really want to keep that nice and up and down, right? Yeah, so anyway, through a lot of that stuff, you can kind of see that those sticks are going like directly up and down. All right, so sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. I love playing. Obviously, you can tell I freaking love playing. If once I start, I don't stop. So let's go ahead and we'll do 16 on a hand, and you can set this up. Just go try to put this phone as you're doing this along with me. Put it in a mirror somewhere with your the snare drum at the right height. I have this set a little bit high because I got to get it in the camera frame, which is why you see me standing at these weird angles while I'm playing traditional grip, because it's an awkward height. But okay, let's go ahead and we'll just do it at this tempo. 1, 2, ready, 16 and go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and straight and up and down. Try to give you a good view. Now let's do both hands. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and stop. All right, that's sort of a medium tempo. We could actually do this slower. Bum, 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 bum. So let's take it a little bit slower. 1, and we'll just do, let's do 16 on a hand, and then we'll switch to both, and I'll let you know when. 1, 2, ready, go. No stick loops. Sorry, I got off as I started talking on that one. No stick loops. Nice and up and down. Straight, up, and down. Watch your drumsticks. Make sure you're not going left or right. None of this motion. None of this. Don't grip too hard. Nice and relaxed. 1, 2. Both hands now. Sorry, I didn't set that up very well. I'm trying to switch here, show you guys different views of the hands. Also, this applies to if you're playing. Notice I've got a little bit more of a French grip right now, but it also applies if you're doing German grip. Notice palms to the side, right? If you got your French grip going. I have a video on that too. Check out my, let's see, I have another video on this. It's about the difference between French and German grip somewhere. So check that out. But yeah, so French grip is here, right? German grip is your palms down, but notice as I'm doing this, you can still see that stick going directly up and down. So this is what it looks like, more French grip. And that's German grip there. So the German grip I need to switch around a little bit more because you can't see the sticks. It's good at an angle right here. You can't tell that they're straight up and down and not going in loops. Alright, ready and stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick that up a little bit. Right here. 1, 2, and we'll start with 16 on a hand here and 16 on a hand here, and then we'll go to both. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. Again, no loopity loops, none of this. None of this. So you can even hear the inconsistency in my playing when I do that. It's all over the place. You can hear the rhythm get out of time and everything. So here's what it looks like straight up and down. And then German grip for you. There's a German grip on the right hand. German grip on the left hand. Alright, now both hands. Let's go back to French grip for a little bit. So there's left hand straight up and down, right hand straight up and down. Oh, different stick heights. Some flams. Okay, I get carried away. Alright, now here's German grip. Again, straight up and down. German grip, right hand, straight up and down. Also, I don't know if my camera is reversed. I don't know if you're seeing, I'm not sure if this is my right hand or left hand to you, but that's my right, so that's what I'm calling right. Alright, ready and stop. Okay, now, bring it up here. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I should be doing this with a metronome, but I'm not. Oh, I missed my 16. Here we go. 1, 2, 4. Sorry, I'm talking. I'm getting distracted. Alright, we'll go to both hands after this left hand. Here we go. And then let's switch to German grip right now. Again, you can see nice and straight up and down. There. There. And if you're putting accents on these, you could also do this. Just keep this in mind. Every 3, whatever. So you should be able to play everything, all your different rudiments, with everything straight up and down. Alright, stop, 2, ready, and now. Alright, now, right here. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 1. No loops. It really matters a lot at these faster tempos. You're wasting energy at these faster tempos, you're in for it. That wasn't 16, sorry. Let's do both hands. 1, accents. Every 2, every 4, every 3 frames. Doesn't matter what it is. Stop, 2, ready, and okay, so as you notice, I was throwing some accents in there, all sorts of stuff. So it doesn't really matter what you're playing. You should be able to have straight up and down. Now, obviously, if you're a drum set player or if you're doing tenors in a marching band, whatever it is, this is going to shift a little bit as you're going around the drum set. But even on the drum set, like let's say one of your drums is here, like you're going between high tom or maybe the snare and the floor tom, right? This will help you get more even arcs going from one drum to another. And that's a whole study in itself, is getting this nice even arc going instead of being like snare, wiggle around, floor tom, wiggle around, none of this craziness. But being able to make it like a bouncing ball, just going boom, 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 boom. Almost, like I'm trying to think. But yeah, going between drums, getting this straight up and down feel, and being able to do it in German grip as well as French, that will help you go around the drum set. Yeah, the positioning on this is like, if I were hitting the snare, I'm doing snare here is palm down with German grip, and then I go to the high tom, and then once I go to the second tom, it turns a little bit, right? And so I got this nice arc between the first and second tom, where I'm switching from German grip to French grip, and then French grip over on the right hand of the drum set. So, and then same on the left hand if you have a double-sided, whatever it is. So, yeah. So while it's going to shift a little bit once you start moving to different drums, getting this motion nice and clean is going to help you once you start doing those arcs around the drums. It's just going to make you that much faster, and it's awesome. So I can't wait to see how you all implement this. If you all, let's say, post your videos and like tag me in them, you can put them down in the comments section, because if I see any of y'all's hand technique, I can give you commentary, and even you all can give each other commentary. I like just sort of group feedback. It helps us all get better. So hope you like these videos. Again, this is a part of a 2 hand technique little series. I'm doing these. I'll go ahead and put that video either here or down in the link. There's going to be some video here, so you should watch that next one, whatever's the best for you. But I'll definitely put the first video to this down below. So anyway, hope all's well, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.